On the other hand, if you're in the Indian Ocean, those aircraft can fly with impunity at whatever speed they wish to strike at the heart of whatever country, in this case, if you really want to kill Iranians. And that apparently seems to be what the Israelis want us to do, and the Israelis are the ones pulling the numbers on this one, not the American government. We're just basically like a big bull with a ring through your nose, being pulled around by the Israelis to murder Arabs for the Israelis. Okay? Not because the Arabs deserve it, but because, well, maybe we're stupid. Okay? But anyway, point is that an aircraft carrier serves a better purpose back and away, and the aircraft, which have significant range, can then sortie in at their discretion, and there's very little fly time or downtime. And by the way, you might want to remember, we have a vast military service. Do y'all remember we have what we call AWACS? How many AWACS do we have? In fact, back when 9/11 took place, where were all of our AWACS sitting? The majority of our AWACS were overseas in the Persian Gulf. In fact, those that we had here in the United States, here's a reminder of exactly how the globalists are working. Dutch AWACS and other NATO AWACS aircraft were brought into the U.S., and our U.S. aircraft were sent overseas. Now, my problem with that is, well, wait a minute. Wouldn't it have been better to have the AWACS aircraft instead of circling around the Israelis and worrying about other stuff over in the Middle East? Wasn't the air threat here in America? We didn't need Dutch or British or German anything over here. We should have had American over here first, and you let the scabs work somewhere else. But that's not what happened. However, right now, we have a whole bunch of AWACS aircraft, people. You want to find out more about those, go to Jane's, go to Popular Mechanics, go to, there's a number of places you can look up. Google AWACS, okay? And when you do, you'll find out that, you see, we have air superiority with regard to what's called electronic countermeasures technologies. So that's part of the screen that actually helps to protect aircraft carriers and ground forces and air bases that we have that are forward deployed, but forward deployed in what we call an intelligent manner, not putting them up into the Persian Gulf in the Coke bottle. The only reason you'd be doing that is so that they could sacrifice your sons in a stupid move by losing an aircraft carrier that otherwise shouldn't or wouldn't have been lost. Okay? So the next time you see an aircraft carrier up in the Persian Gulf, understand that's the only reason they're putting them there. Not because they're forward deployed, because the problem is being forward deployed, all someone has to do is decide that use it or lose it, which is if I were the Iranians, that's how I'd think. The first time that anybody starts lobbing stuff at, well, Iran, anything that we have that's a capital ship would be zeroed by everything they have, which of course would then be, remember the Essex, or remember the Intrepid, or remember the Enterprise. That would be the battle cry for whatever they do next. See how that works? I think Mark can see this one, and I think you guys can too. So, the fabrication here to desperately create a war is one of the things we have to look at. Now, as far as missile launches go, isn't Iran supposed to test its equipment? I'm sure it does. And has it done it before? Well, they don't talk about it unless they need to. But to whip up the frenzy against Iraq, well, I don't know the difference between Iraq and Iran. Well, you better, real quick here. Well, otherwise, we might drop it on Baghdad. Remember, we're there now. Remember that? Would be a good idea to know the difference between a Q and an N. Look on the typewriter. You might find it on the keyboard. Hello? Anyway, point is, they build weapons, guys. They build weapons and they test them. And they test them in their backyard. They don't go into the Pacific. They don't test them out in Micronesia. They don't test them at Bikini Island. They don't go out to White Sands Missile Range. Oh, wait, but we do that, remember? So that's their equivalent to the White Sands Missile Range. They got to launch them someplace, and they're launching them in their own backyard. We are getting in their face in their backyard. So don't be surprised if something happens. It'll typically be fabricated. It will be, again, orchestrated for the sake of the ring knockers and the spit swappers. Just be awake and don't come and tell me all about, oh, my goodness, I was so surprised. Don't be surprised. The Gulf of Tonkin was a lie. Oops. Pearl Harbor was a big lie. In fact, turns out we knew exactly where the carriers were. They were told to stay away from them. A lot of your great-uncles or your dads or whatever either were critically injured or passed away in a fabricated attack. And don't forget the Maine. And certainly we know about the Lusitania now, don't we? So again, Every time this happens, the only thing that frustrates me about this is people going, oh, they lied to us, I didn't know. No. Let's back up and put it this way. They lied, and it was a comfortable lie for the moment. Remember, 9/11, the lie was comfortable, except that now, after they told you that we were going to get cheaper gas, do you remember that? If you all went along with this lie, you'd get cheaper gas at the pumps, and we could drive even bigger battle wagons down the road. And after that lie was dead and gone, and now that you're paying almost $5 a gallon for gas, I guess now people get a little frustrated and they don't like that lie anymore. But maybe, just maybe, if we go and steal oil from the Iranians, they don't have as much as the Iraqis, by the way, maybe if we get to steal oil from the Iranians, they'll only charge us $7 or $10. What? Why would Mark say that? Well, I'm using math here, okay? We were told we were going to get cheaper oil and cheaper gas if we went to kill men, women, and children in Iraq for the New World Order and for the Israelis, okay? Well, we were paying $1.15, as low as $1.17, $1.15, let's say in the higher end, $1.25,